Good morning, everybody. You're tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple hours, along with Nick.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Gal is here.
Good morning. תרווחו and תסעדו, everyone.
I gotta go. See you guys later.
And Katie's here.
Good morning.
Good morning. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming. So, Gal, explain to people what is that.
So we are now, the Passover was done on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And that is when also the Mimuna festivities happen. Being, as we're not in Israel, there's no holiday, people are working, we postponed our celebration last night. And we had this Moroccan original Jewish Moroccan festivities at our home. Amnon, how many people do you say?
I have no idea. Too many to count. I mean, there were
we
probably over 50.
We definitely had around 85 approval. About 10 or 15 of those approval didn't come, but I think there were at least 10 or 15 people who weren't in the list that finally appeared. So I think around 80 plus people.
Yeah, it was crowded. There is no doubt.
A full house, good music, excellent sweets. Mati made her famous mufletas. It was awesome.
Yeah, those mufletas were so good.
We call those that's a did you have a it sounds like you had a banger, Gal, with all the so many people there. I mean, it's a great house party.
Yeah, we the first time we did it in this neighborhood, we were really worried about, you never know the reaction of the neighbors, right?
Sure.
If they're gonna approve or not. Obviously, the neighbors around us are invited. This is literally for everyone to join, and they have grown accustomed to us hosting parties here. This is the only one that is at this size, but yeah, it's always fun.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, I'll bet I didn't go outside during the thing, but I'll bet the whole street was probably full of cars, right?
Cars, yeah. The whole
neighborhood
street and probably two adjacent ones are filled up.
Yeah, you live in a nice neighborhood. I drove in and I was like, whoa, this is fancy.
Yeah, we got lucky with the neighborhood. I agree. Amnon, I think you completely missed what we also had in the small patio. We had a hookah gathering of the young people.
I saw that. I saw when he took it and went outside with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as authentic as we can.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. And as far as the house, I don't think you got lucky. You chose well.
Well, we were lucky to find one that really suited us. This one was unique in all of the houses that we looked at when we were searching to settle down here. So we definitely feel that we got lucky.
Oh. Yep, but it was good. It was very
Yep.
good. Like every year.
Didn't deal with any technology for this party.
No, it didn't.
Except maybe music is part in entwined in technology.
Now, talking about now, let's talk about technology in your house. When I came in after 15 minutes, Kathy wanted to watch Gaia to see if she's
Okay.
okay. So I logged in. I mean, I connected,
Yeah.
and it came up. And the second time, I got a notification that there is a Wi-Fi, a guest.
Okay.
So I went ahead and said,
Yes.
"Oh yeah, let's connect." What speed is your speed limited on the Wi-Fi on the guest network?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I could never get to the. I mean, it would take forever and ever and ever and ever, and then it connected. So I connected it back to LTE, and boom. So
I
I
will need
Um,
to check it. I don't know why.
I we're using what camera were you connecting to, Amnon?
the one that you have too.
Yeah. Uh, you have any strict firewall rules, Gal?
None.
Nope.
Oh, I don't know.
Interesting, because this is some weird Chinese camera we bought. I wouldn't be surprised if something on your network was blocking it.
No,
It
I do not
wasn't.
have any IP blocking.
It wasn't blocking it. It would just take literally about 40, 45 seconds to come up.
Hmm.
With LTE, it was bang bang.
Could have been a
And
simple issue with with a hop somewhere in
n-
between. I mean, I had that weird issue with AT&T for
that's
so long. It
Hold
was
on,
just a
hold on, hold on. You got the guest, but did you put the password?
it.
You get the login screen.
I think I didn't have to. It just took it.
Then that's why you were not
yeah,
logged in.
you weren't logged in.
Yeah. So it's an open Wi-Fi, but
Wait.
you need
You said
it's
it.
it's
Remember?
open without password, right? You can connect to the Wi-Fi, but then you get a capture page, like you're in a coffee shop that tells you where to look for the password inside the home. There's a sign, and you need to put in the password.
So when you set it up last time we were over there, I asked. I gave you the phone. I said enter it. It wouldn't remember it because I
No,
clicked.
that's valid for 24 hours.
Oh, okay. Well, that may be it because
Yeah.
the other thing that I remember now that it said when I logged into the program, Nick, and I don't know if you saw it on yours, it told me that my browser was outdated. I said, "What browser? I'm not using a browser. I'm just using the."
It is a browser. That
Yeah.
app is so
Right.
it
So
just
it
pretty
says
much loads a web
update,
page.
and I said, I'm not going to update now. I mean, I don't want
Yeah.
to do that. So okay, I see. So it doesn't remember. It's only good for a certain amount of time. I figured
Yeah,
when I
it's
clicked
a
on it.
temporary connection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same password, but you need to enter it every 24
Okay.
hours.
So that's what it is.
This way,
This by
I just
design
don't get
or is this
that's how
always?
I mean, I could have opened it, but I chose to,
Okay.
okay, guests want to have it. Yeah,
Okay.
they can have it for 24 hours, not a problem.
Interesting.
If I
Good.
zoom out, I zoom out. Yeah. You see the sign over here
Yeah. Yeah.
that contains the password. And
Okay.
when you get the login page, it says, go to the office on top of the bookshelf. There's the password. So this way, when we have a party like this, and especially with kids and their parents, they don't need to come ask me. I can tell them, just read the instructions and you will get the password.
Folks may have also seen a similar thing to what Gal's describing if you've been to any hotel where you'll go, the Wi-Fi network is open and then it will pull up a browser on your phone or computer and say, what is your room number and what is your last name? Something like that. What is that page called?
It's called the capture page.
A capture page, exactly. Yeah. Coffee shops, like you mentioned. It's very common for instead of putting a password on the guest network, you leave it open and then the password. But until you enter that password while you are connected, you have no network access, correct?
Right. So it's not it's not risk free, right? Uh, that means somebody's in the network, the router, firewall, whatever is managing the connection, right? Is you are sipping in on the network's bandwidth, but
Hmm.
you cannot do a lot, right? You are very limited in what you can or
Hmm.
what you can connect to, and until you enter the password, you're you're stuck in that lobby, basically.
So what did I finally connect it to? Because what I did is when I saw that there was a button that says connect, use as is or connect as is, something like that. So I clicked. I said, yeah, use it.
Well, that's your phone telling you you do not have any network,
Yep.
and it's asking you whether to disconnect from the Wi-Fi or not. But your phone should also have popped up a message saying you need to sign in, and it should have opened the browser showing you that page.
Okay. It told me that I should log in, sign in, but it didn't
Right.
open anything else after that except telling me that my browser was outdated and I need
Mm.
to
So
upgrade
that's
it.
the problem
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
Your browser had an issue that didn't show you the page
Okay.
because I chose on that page to only support modern codecs. So an old phone maybe with an old browser won't be allowed. And this is me just choosing,
No, that's fine. I mean, I was
yeah.
just wondering, I said, so how did it finally connect?
It
Which
fell
is,
back to LTE after about it probably
Yeah.
tried for 45 seconds and then fell back.
hmm,
Yeah, that's what the phone actually does.
it
It
should do it.
detects you does not have. It's good and bad. So because it doesn't tell you you're not connected to Wi-Fi anymore, or when you're browsing the internet, you're not connecting to Wi-Fi. But when you choose use as is, the routing on the phone means outgoing internet connection is going through LTE. And that allows you to work with an intranet where you might want to SSH or use an intranet only service, right? In an office setting or something like that. So, uh, examples where this is actually a problem. So, you know, the situation where you get a new smart device, it publishes a Wi-Fi network of its own, and the app is asking you to connect to that Wi-Fi network, right? And then it exchanges details about internet connection, and then it switches to internet-based connection, and you're connected again to your LAN,
Hmm.
right? So again, the process, right? You open it opens a Wi-Fi hotspot. It's connected to nothing. Your phone connects to it. Now they're connected point to point, but your phone is disconnected from the network now. When you get to that situation, um, the the phone detects that it doesn't have internet and breaks sometimes the communication, the point-to-point communication with the device during the handshake where they need to exchange details. That happens quite a lot. So if somebody is trying to set up a smart device and it's always failing on them and they can't figure out what's the problem, put your phone in airplane mode first, switch on Wi Fi, right? Connect to the internet, and only then start the handshake process with the device. This way, your phone won't fall back to an internet connection through LTE or through your SIM card, basically, right? And you'll be able to complete that handshake. Samsung devices are not notorious in that, with their aggressiveness of always allowing you online connection, right? Now, to the layperson, fantastic. This is exactly what you want. You want to always be connected to the internet, right?
Hmm.
But sometimes, for a technical reason, you need not to be connected for the internet for a short period of time. And the only way to do it is actually going into airplane mode. So, yeah.
All right. Well, that makes sense. Good. Mystery solved.
Okay.
So, what else is happening, guys?
I've been preparing for my con next week. I'm going to the East Coast Gaming Conference, and I'm super hyped about that.
Where's
It
that?
looks it's in Raleigh in the
Oh,
convention center. So yeah, I'll have a booth there selling some of my D&D assets, maps that I make. But it looks like the lineup's pretty cool. Like they sent out a map of people that are gonna be there and stuff, and it looks like a good time. I've never gone, so this will be my first year, both as a vendor and as a person showing up first time. So looking forward to it. It's in the middle of the week, which is kind of weird, but oh well.
huh,
Usually those things are on the weekend. So I'm interested to see who shows up. Like if it's a lot of traffic, if it's not a lot of
I'm
traffic.
sure it's going to be a lot of traffic.
It's a
Mm,
pretty big event
is
from
it?
what I understand. I've never been able to go because it's in the middle of the week, but I understand it's a pretty large event.
Yeah, there's a lot of big name. Like I mentioned before, that there's a lot of universities. I was surprised by how many universities are going to be there. So it's
They're
basically like a job fair.
yeah, they're scouting. Yeah, I mean they're literally scouting for students.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
funny.
a
My
football team.
my alma mater or whatever that word is, my university is going to be there. So I'll stop by and be like, "Hey, you don't know me, but 10 years ago I graduated from you." They're gonna be like, "Okay, bye, go away."
Yeah, you can tell them, you guys just keep on doing what you're doing, and in 10 years, you may have your own booth here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You too could be like me
Yeah.
here at this place. Not in the main hall because those booths are way too expensive, but out here.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my
Well, good
news
luck.
sharing. Thanks. I'm super hyped. I'll let y'all know how it goes next weekend.
Yeah,
Will you be here Sunday?
I
probably
think
not.
Does it?
so.
Does it?
Wait,
Isn't it Thursday, Friday? Is it?
Oh,
Is
is
it
it
it's
Thursday?
it's the 18th through the 20th. That's Tuesday, Wednesday,
Oh,
Thursday?
Oh, so you
yeah. No,
will
you're
be
right.
here.
It's total middle of the week. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean, now
well,
will I mentally recover? Who knows? I don't
oh,
know what
you
my mental
will.
state. I'll probably be exhausted and need to recover, or maybe I'll just there'll be such a big rush of customers that
Ho
physically I'll just be exhausted and I need a week to recover.
how is that working with your new job?
Oh, it works great. Um I do a lot of stuff on the weekends, and so my last con was last month. So I've had a month to prepare. So yeah, I made some new maps and sent them in, and I get them, and I started sewing this weekend. But my new job's going great and I love it. It's a lot of fun.
So
I'm
they don't have a problem with you missing, sort of like missing, if not missing, but
no,
being
yeah,
off.
they know. They know. I when I got hired, I told them, I was like, "Look, I'm going to this con. Is this going to be cool? It's in the middle of the week." They're like, "Yeah, it's fine." So yeah, they all know. And it's a gaming company, so they're all really interested in it too.
Yeah, I was gonna say it would have been nice if you could have some kind of, I don't know, some information about the company at the booth, and they would have wrote it. I mean, they would have paid
Yeah.
for you to be there.
Maybe next year. I'm too new. I've only
Yeah,
got 2
all
weeks
right.
under my belt with this new
That's a
company.
ballsy ask right off the bat.
Yeah, I'd be
Like,
like, "Hey,"
hey.
coming in all swaggering, "You don't
Yeah,
know me, but I'm a hot shot. I got into this con."
that's pretty funny.
Yeah, and then I have another con in May, so I'm excited. So
Good,
they're
good.
a lot of fun.
All right, now here's an article about gaming.
Ooh.
Turns out millennials are the largest untapped market that video game companies should be focusing on, for a new study from Fandom, which finds that Generation the generation spends more time gaming than both Gen Z and teens. That's coming from Variety. According to fan community platform, the entertainment company Fandom annual Inside Gaming Report, which was released last Thursday, despite teens and Gen Z spending more time gaming than they did last year, older generations of players are spending more hours per week gaming.
Well,
It's
is there more to the article? Because I'm going to throw my thoughts down.
yeah, but the rest of it is compiled based on proprietary user data from Fandom and a global study. The report found that 52% of millennials surveyed rank playing video games as their top interest, and 40% of their millennial audience spends over 22 hours per week gaming, compared to only 29% of teens. So yeah, that's it. I mean, they're just saying that older people are spending more time gaming.
I think it's funny that they wrote an article about this because I could just say, "Oh yeah," and in breaking news, water is wet. Like, duh, millennials play video games because all you have to know is like the gaming, personal gaming affordability came out in our childhood, like in the 90s. Like Super Nintendo came out in 91. That's when a bunch of the millennials were like kids or teenagers or whatever. So of course they all got exposed to video games during childhood. So of course they still play games. Like this isn't breaking
Right.
news. Like
No, but now they have booths in conferences. Now they can pay for
yeah,
the games.
like none of this is news. Like duh, people in their that were born in the 70s or 80s play video games because that's when the video games started like getting popular.
I
Yeah,
have a
but Katie, this is a marketing research. This isn't
Okay.
research.
Sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
I think there might be something here, excuse me, that obviously, yes, water is wet, and no wonder those people are playing games. However, I think if you look at the state of the economy over the last couple of years, maybe folks are turning towards gaming more because it is maybe a cheaper thing to do than going out every weekend or going here or going there. I think that absolutely plays into it. You saw a huge boom in gaming in 2009, 10, 11, and 12. You had no money.
Hmm.
The economy was in peril. So you had a lot of folks that was their entertainment. Instead of going to a movie and dropping what, $30 at a movie per
Mhm.
person with the ticket and something else, you buy a $60 video game and that's your entertainment for a couple of weeks or a
Mm-hmm.
couple of months. I think that absolutely it's interesting to see that economic when there are economic uncertainties and things like that, gaming tends to blossom because it is a relatively cheap form of entertainment.
Mm-hmm. I want to add to that too that uh gaming and why it's so popular too is that it's something you could do with your friends, but it's all can be online. And that's at the same thing when like the video game consoles were coming out in the 90s and PlayStation 1, Super Nintendo. Also around that time, the internet was coming to people's houses. And so our generation was getting used to making friends online and communicating online. Like that's where we would meet up with people. And then, that just keeps going further down where now you have like Discord and now you have online events. And so a lot of my friends don't live where I live. They're all over the world and we all come together to play games or watch Netflix or something online. So it really lends itself to that. Plus, like you said, it's a cheap alternative to going out.
Yeah.
You mentioned Discord, Katie. The
Yeah.
gaming app Discord
What?
making unbelievable national news this week. Do
Oh
you have
no,
the
what
story on that,
happened?
Amnon?
Yeah, no, I don't have. I didn't. I don't get into
So
that. But
there was a 21-year-old Massachusetts National Guard's airman who has been posting classified military briefings in his Thug Gangster OG Minecraft. That's the name of his Discord server for the past couple of weeks. And the FBI raided his mother's house on Thursday and arrested him, and he is going to likely spend a lot of time in prison for posting these. It's so funny to hear terrestrial media talk about Discord. They kept calling it a gaming website. I was like, and as I thought about it, I was like, how would you describe Discord?
It's a communication application.
It's a social network kind of social platform.
It is in some regards. It's interesting how they described it as a gaming website.
That reminds me of the TikTok jury thing or whatever that was a couple weeks ago, and they're like, does TikTok have Wi-Fi? Like, they're just
the hearing.
Yeah, the hearing. They're just so disconnected. Ugh, it makes me cringe.
They got a bunch of questions they do not understand the context, and they asked somebody to come up with those questions, and those someones did not understand either. We've seen it happen again and again and again. It happens in everything.
I'll tell you this, though. You go to Discord's website, discord.com, and gaming group is the second thing on the website. Yeah. So I mean, that's where they're promoting. I struggled to describe it on the radio because it's kind of a catch-all of everything. It's kind of like a forum used to be, but then it's also what Ventrilo used to be. It's a chat application, but then it's also got video calling and screen sharing. I don't know. The
communication platform, basically, right?
That doesn't sound cool, though.
You know how I describe it? I describe it as Skype, like another version of Skype. When somebody's like, "Oh, I haven't heard of Discord before," and I'll be like, "Oh, it's Skype, but for gaming."
But it's so much more than Skype.
No, yeah, I know, but instantly they're like, "Oh, okay."
But that's the thing. Everybody describing it by the way they use it.
Mm-hmm.
It is a catch-all. It's like if you try to explain Facebook, it's the same thing. If you try to explain, it does a lot of things, right? And it allows doing a lot of things. But basically, these are community-centered communication platforms. Is it cool? It is cool by the use of it, right? And by what you can do with it. And that's what makes it cool. But the platform itself, it's just that. It's just technology. That's the difference between what is Tumblr compared to WordPress? Right? There's not a lot of different.
Oh, yeah. Tumblr has the memes.
Exactly.
Yeah, and a lot of illicit, illegal activity that would get you 30 years to life.
Here's what I'm predicting. I'm predicting that some stupid people are going to go after Discord instead of going after the real problem. There's going to be a hearing about, is Discord safe for our youths? And instead of calling it a gaming software application, whatever, some congressman's going to refer to it as Nintendo.
There is going to be a marketing research now.
Yeah. And then somebody's going to be like, well, this computer app Nintendo game thing.
Yeah. I don't know that this won't rise to the same level as the TikTok stuff. The bigger question here is about, and we talk about security and privacy in our own personal lives with our own whatever it might be. And the real question is happening is, how the hell did a 21-year-old, essentially freshman National Guardsman in Massachusetts have physical access to daily briefings that were being given to the president? That's the real question that's being asked here. And it's not undifferent from some of the things that we talk about with how information gets out and how things leak and are available. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, Discord was all the rage this week. Let's see, if you do a Google News search on Discord, I wonder what the headlines look like. Washington Post, Pentagon knew Discord offered risks and warned soldiers about its use. You're right, Katie. You're right. I'm totally wrong. These idiots are already running with this BS.
Yep.
Jesus.
See, they're gonna blame the wrong thing. They're gonna come after what the kids use.
The Atlantic. It's not just a Discord leak. Group chats are the internet's new chaos mechanism.
Yeah, yeah, they're going after the wrong
They're
thing.
going after Reddit.
Yeah.
No.
It's one of those things where, oh, we can't be wrong. Let's go after the thing that just
I
deflect,
wonder.
deflect.
I wonder when they'll stop those BBS things.
Well, the reason, the reason Discord is kind of interesting in this context, and I absolutely despise the Washington Post, but their headline is interesting. Why are military recruits using Discord? Well, because they're 18, 19, 20, 23 years old. They're gamers, a lot of them, and they're already using Discord before that. So
Right.
that's it.
And that is and probably because as an 18-year-old, after being interfaced with Discord for a while now, right?
Yeah.
They know that is the best communication platform out there for free.
Yeah.
Right? It is amazing. It's not, I mean, I've been saying this for years, but maybe it's finally getting the attention it needs, just it's starting from the wrong place.
So I use obviously we have Discords. Everybody's in a whole bunch of Discord servers, but I have a private Discord server. It's literally just me. The server's called Nick. It's very exclusive. Nobody else is allowed.
Only Nick's allowed.
And I use it to
talk to yourself.
Well, yes. Yeah, I sit in there. I'm like Nick GPT. I'm in there just communicating with myself. But I use it as a God, there used to be a website called, damn it, I don't remember what it was called. Used to use it to share links to so that you could reference things later. It was called like Feedly or something like that. And I just use Discord for a link repository. Anytime I see a news story that is rather interesting, either on my phone or on my computer, I click the share button, share it to my Discord server so that I can reference it later. That's literally, it's perfect for that.
You know what I use it for? The same thing. I have my own private server. I actually use it for AI. So Midjourney has Midjourney is a AI that makes artwork, image prompts, whatever. But they have they generate all their prompts through Discord. Like they built the software or the AI program that you have to have a Discord in order to use it, and it sends prompts through Discord to their server or however it works. But by using Discord, what they also did is they made a AI bot, and with bots in Discord, you can bring in these bots to your servers and use them as use them. How would you describe a Gall? What? How, I don't know, I can't think of a way to
What?
describe a bot. So it's basically like an
bot
assistant.
is automated responses, basically.
Yeah. So Midjourney made a bot for Discord so you could bring it into your server. And instead of having to go to their server and use Midjourney server, I can use my server and type in the prompts I want, and it shows up just in my art server that I made.
It's a bridge.
A bridge. Yeah. So and I have with Discord, you have the server or you have the area, and then you can make rooms or channels that have their own little chat area. So I'll do one that's like, okay, I'm working on pictures for a website. This is all for website stuff. And here's one that's all for print media. And so each one stays organized that way. And then I use the bot in all the channels. So I need to use more bots, but I just don't know what there's so many possibilities, but that's what I use it for, AI bots.
Well, I mean, it's something that you can use to be productive. Then there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And like Nick does too. I use it too
Yeah,
when I
exactly.
find links, I'll post links in there, and I have a lot. It's like bookmarking. I'm bookmarking.
It's
except
like
it's in Discord.
the Echo shopping list.
Mhm.
You just put stuff in there, and then you can go and look.
Yep. But this you could attach images to and everything. So
Well, anyway.
it's useful. Okay, next thing.
Next thing, the world's largest music company, Universal Music Group, is asking major streaming services like Spotify and Apple Music to block artificial intelligence companies from using its music to train their technology.
Mm.
And they
Of course
say,
it'll come from them.
huh? Yeah. I mean, they
course
didn't
it will
learn
come.
from, what was it?
Metallica,
No, well, yeah. What was the platform?
Oh,
LimeWire,
Napster.
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 Yeah. I said we have a moral and commercial responsibility to our artists to work to prevent the unauthorized use of their music and to stop platforms from ingesting content that violates the rights of artists and other creators. We expect our platform partners will want to prevent their services from being used in ways that harm artists.
I have zero problem with everything they said,
Yeah.
except the word moral has
Correct.
nothing to do with it.
Mhm.
Well, so I saw something yesterday, and this is a problem for artists, music artists,
Why?
because these AIs are sampling artists' music
Yeah.
and generating songs as if the artist is making them, and they're not. And that's what the concern is, that people are going to be taking. So you take a popular artist, a rapper, a pop star, whatever it is, you have some AI sample a song and generate it sounding like it is an artist, and then you have it under your own indie label and you put it on Spotify. That's a problem. It's an intellectual property issue. Believe me, I'm not carrying the water for
Oh,
Universal Music or
okay.
Sony. I mean, these guys are scumbags. But in terms of rehashing that as your own music or your own intellectual property, it's not. And that's, we talked about this months ago. It started with pictures, where you had these Getty Images and some of these other ones saying, no AI generated um uh artwork on our website, Adobe, on their marketplace. No AI generated content, because it's a very gray area of, well, if this is based off of something else that somebody made, is this really your own intellectual property? And as AI is maturing, it's now, instead of doing a picture, it's now doing music generation and essentially sampling music, sampling beats and things from artists.
But the other side of that, wouldn't the other side be that if and when more people are going to start using AI for
Okay,
research and stuff like
I
that, that
I, I want to stop you there,
yeah.
and I want the AI to provide some input. Okay,
Mhm.
let me just tell me if you can hear this. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, listen to it.
This is the story of Warner Bros. They thought they could just take our money and get away with it, but they were wrong.
Is that Katie
Listening
singing?
to
No, that's
what you're
awful. Well,
listening
I'm
to.
awful, but that's awful too.
What you're listening to is a website called Songer.ai, SONGR.ai. It's a bit clunky, it's really new. And all I wrote to it, I told it to write a pop song. And the prompt was Warner Bros. Is going to lose this battle. That is what I gave it. And it came up with the lyrics and the music and the singing. And that's the AI singing. I did not. Uh, that's the entire interaction with it.
Wow.
So,
But the problem unfolds when you ask the AI to write a song as if you were Bruno Mars or somebody like that, and now it's
I am
using
guessing it will
and
get
now
there.
that songer might not do that, because it may have limited the use of artists' words, but if you have access to whatever the backend AI that is using, you can obviously break that. That's something that they do on the front end. And that's the real problem. Not AI generated music is not an issue. It's when you tell it to write a song as if you were Taylor Swift and it sounds just like her. And then you take that and say, "Hi, I'm Gal, and here you go, Spotify. Here's my brand new song," and it's not your song at all. That's where the issue is coming in. The same thing with art. You know, make a Van Gogh painting that looks like this. It's not a Van Gogh painting.
Yeah, but then again, you can also go right to a professional artist and
Mhm.
ask them to uh, render my wedding photo in the style of Van Gogh,
Sure.
right? And you pay them, I don't know, $300, and they go do that. So why is it wrong for AI? Think about it. We're not talking about the way AI generates the picture is not by sampling. This is a misconception. It actually throws random dots on the canvas, right, on the virtual canvas, and it adjusts the picture based on how it measures its similarity to the end result, to what it wants, right? That's the way AI works. It is completely different. It's then I am taking this component and I'm adding this, and then I'm taking this component and I'm adding this and this. It's it's a whole different process. It is a lot more like our brain would work when somebody gives us instructions. So that is the problem. Is they are looking at it as if uh, you're you're cheating because your AI can read the entire of Wikipedia in a week, right? Where humans can't, but the data that was put there is not for AI to use. That is basically what they're saying. So they're saying you are cheating because you allowed your AI to listen to the music we publish. And now it knows how to play like Bruno Mars. That is what they're missing. And I'm not saying they're going to lose this immediately. It's going to be a whole battlefield of litigation. But in the end, we are talking about some sort of, if they're going to block AI from doing it, then they are going also to say no artists are allowed, right, to play music because they heard something before. And that doesn't work.
No, but for example, in a lot of hip hop, a lot of more current music, hip hop, rap, stuff like that, they will sample songs from the 70s and 80s.
Right.
And they'll use beats. They have to
Right.
license that. I mean, there are so many popular songs now that start off with what I heard one the other day. Uh Genius Love Club or whatever that band was from the 80s. There's a hip hop song that starts with that same little riff at the beginning, and it's a
Right.
sample. And they probably are owned by the same. It's probably all Sony or Universal, so it doesn't matter. They just do it that way. That's I think that's where the difference is. Now, to back to your Van Gogh thing, I might argue that you're paying somebody to do a Van Gogh of your wedding photos, depending on how that's done, that might not be. I don't know how it works I don't know how Van Gogh stuff is licensed. That might also be an issue too. I don't know.
No, I'm telling it because it's not an issue because nobody can do anything about it. It's
Okay.
about it's about styling, right?
Yeah,
And
true.
that is exactly the thing. Taylor Swift owns her recording, right? She owns the music composition of a specific song combined with the lyrics for a specific song. But if somebody wants to riff off that, like create their own version of that, she has zero control of it unless they are selling it as a Taylor Swift thing.
Which is, I think, is that's what Universal's warning against to Apple and Spotify is, hey,
Sure,
you cannot
but it
allow
doesn't
this
matter
stuff
if
on your
it comes
platform.
from AI or not, right?
No, correct. It
That's
doesn't
the
matter if
thing.
it's coming from AI. It's when it's being sold and marketed, and when you're putting it up on your Bandcamp as your own music, when reality is it's not.
Right. And for now, right, nobody's doing that. Everybody's experimenting.
Yeah.
They are trying to call big evil on something that is far from it. They're the
Sure.
only evil player in that battlefield, right? And the only thing they are worried is don't touch my gold, right? It's like people, we know exactly where the limits are, and yes, we're going to see you litigate around those limits, and you're going to try to encroach onto it. It's just they are realizing they do not have control about everything, and the music industry is going to change again. But they're grabbing for their cents now because they understand that some huge shift is going to happen. Just a warning reminder to everyone: they won the last time, right? It's not. They complained that they're going to lose, but no, they won. They still control the industry. They still are the ones who are making billions in dollars. There's just some additional players like Spotify, Google, Amazon that are doing some that have taken some of that business, and nobody's printing. The only one who lost are the factories printing vinyl, right? That's it.
I posted a link in the chat. I'm not going to play it because it'll get aimed on a copyright strike. But there's this guy on TikTok who just popped up. His name is Ghostwriter, and he had AI generate a Drake song, and it is indistinguishable from, in terms of the voice, indistinguishable from any other Drake song. And that's where the problem is going to take place. Is where somebody is now generating it. You're absolutely right, Kyle. I don't think generating it. Now, here's the problem. The question's going to be, what are these AIs allowed to use as reference material? Because I understand what you said about the pictures, but in terms of music, these AIs are absolutely sampling music. There's no way they're not. They have
They
to.
are. They're not. They're learning from music.
Yeah, they're sampling.
Yeah, when you listen to a song played by a DJ on the radio, you are sampling the music as well,
Right.
right? And there's no difference in that sampling process than anything else. It's not. It's not storing. It's not
When you
storing
say
the song
listening,
in its memory banks
when you say
because it's
listen to
storing
a,
reference. Yeah, go
explain
ahead.
what you mean. When you're listening to a song on the radio from a DJ, what do you mean? You mean when a song?
When my ears, right,
Yes.
are sampling the sounds coming in from anything that's playing ambiently, right?
Sure.
My brain is sampling the sound that's coming in, but it's not
Yes.
storing the song. It's storing reference points about that song. I will remember the lyrics. I will be able to reproduce some of the tunes if I'm not tone deaf, right?
Sure.
And when I sing it out, it is never the exact recording of that.
No,
This
it is
is
not.
AI. This is exactly what happens with AI. It does not store the entire song in all of its detail in its memory banks, in its model. It stores reference points that it identified using the model that is used to train it. That is what's called AI training. It is a lot like teaching a child. It is not like feeding a computer algorithm, right? And that is what bothers everyone because this is a completely new concept. And the thing is, the reason to fight for the rights to use AI for it is because the moment you're going to encroach on AI, eventually you'll be able to encroach on personal human rights. It's that bizarre of a situation that we are in. There's nothing simple about this. It doesn't matter how much the litigators want to make it as simple as I own this, they shouldn't do that. They've been trying to do that for years, right? With artists who came up with a song that sounds similar, right? But we have something that's called homage. We have something it's a cultural war. It's a culture war in a very modern world, right? It's something completely new. So
I
yeah,
mean, I was gonna maybe we should get to it after the specials. But if I'm a girl, high school contest, somebody discovered that my voice sounds just like Taylor Swift.
Mhm.
Wow, listen to her,
Sure.
and she can dance, she can sing, and then somebody writes a song for her, and she sings it, and they market her as Taylor
then you
because her name
Wow.
is no, wait. Her name is Taylor. Her legal name is Taylor Smith,
Sure.
but
Sure.
they market her as Taylor because that's her
Sure.
name. Now, her name is Taylor. She sounds just like her voice sounds like Taylor Swift.
Yep.
The song was written by somebody else.
Sure.
Now, is that illegal?
No.
No. So this
Again, the big difference is this girl was not surgically implanted with
correct.
her vocal
Yeah.
cords
Okay. Yeah.
to sound like somebody else. I think
Right.
that's
Yeah.
where it comes down to. I got to push back a little bit on the thing of teaching a child. When you teach a child something, they don't they don't take 100% of what you said and learn it. That's why you can tell somebody not to touch a stove as
so
many
does
times as you
AI.
want.
So does
To some
AI.
extent, sure.
Not to some extent. 100% the way I'm saying it right now, it's like precise. AI does not take the entire 100%. It cannot reproduce that entire 100%. It
It
will
doesn't
never
need
be
to,
able to.
but I don't think it needs to. If you can, if you listen to, if you go through all of Drake's catalog and you can rep
Yes.
and you listen to 30, or let's say you listen to 30% of his catalog, not 100%, 30% of his catalog,
Yeah.
I would, you can reproduce that at 100% because you're a
You
computer.
can reproduce something similar.
Correct.
This is so important.
Oh, it
It's
is.
never 100%. Even Chat GPT with the engine with its ability to produce code, right? It will never produce the same code again and again and again and again and again. It doesn't know how to. It doesn't have that ability. It is always something novel that comes out of it. Now, if you give it exact same parameters, right, and you limit the engine in a certain way, in a very, very mechanical way, yes, you can reproduce exactly the same output.
I don't think so because
No, you can. You can.
from the first
We do
time
not have control of that aspect.
no because oh, wait, from the first time that you gave it the parameters to the second time, it learned a bunch more in
No, that
between.
doesn't work like that.
No.
I know people think that that's how it works. No, it doesn't work like that. We do not have self-learning models yet. That doesn't exist yet. ChatGPT cannot become sentient all of a sudden.
No, of course not.
Okay.
But I'm sure it's looking at the web and it's seeing new stuff. I mean,
No, it is not. No. So this
okay.
is
So
this is science fiction still. What you're talking about that doesn't exist yet.
okay,
It is trained by information from the web,
yeah,
right? It's done in a very controlled manner.
right.
Otherwise, it won't be. It'll mean nothing. So it's not doing everything on its own. Okay.
Maybe maybe it sounded like that's what I'm saying. Somebody's
I
training it, so it's learning something new, and it may use it in the second time that you are telling it to write that code. But say, oh, you
so
know, I was just trained yesterday, but XYZ, so I should use this here, and you will never be able to produce the same result as you did a week ago.
So the way we are interacting today with AI, large language models,
Mhm.
right? That's what we're talking about when we're talking about Chat GPTs and the similar ones, and Midjourney and this Songer AI that I demonstrated. These are static. they are not learning. The reason me as a user, as an end user, I get a different result is because there's a randomized seed that goes into the process, right? That
Okay.
I have no control of right now. Okay. If I had control of all of the parameters feeding into that engine, I could reproduce the same exact response again and again and again. But the first time I came up with it, I came up with a random seed. So I'll need that random seed in order to get it back.
Okay.
You can play with it when you're doing image generation. I can get a prompt from somebody with all of the parameters if they have access to the image engine, and I can reproduce exactly the same image as he did. So it's not. That's why I'm saying the way it reproduces is one thing, right? What it reproduces is another thing, and it doesn't have anything to do with what was, or it doesn't have any precise copying from the source material that came in. And that is why it's more like a human being or teaching a child, right? It's just a child that is very mechanical. So it is like teaching a child, but the output is not like what you would generate from a human, because a human cannot go back to precisely the same point, right? I mean, that's why sports are what they are. That's why art is what they are, what it is.
Let's hold that thought and come back to it after the special. Nick, you ready?
Sure.
Okay.
Come on over, let's have some fun.
That's a good one, Doll.
I'm telling you, that sounds like Katie. That
I wish.
I don't know. It sounds to me like Katie. All right.
All right. What do you do in this situation? You scroll down, Amnon. Going to pump some gas. And you see this. You got a looks like that's a Windows.
That's Windows CE.
CE pop-up. Yes, at a BP gas station by the looks of it. I guess you go to the next pump because you're
I wrote software for Windows CE. This was a long time ago.
That's a remote diagnostics smanager.exe popping up an error at the local gas station. So good times were had.
So if it's a touch screen, what do?
It's not a touch screen. It's
I'm just saying. If it's
actually one of the buttons on the side might be to quit. I don't know what one of those buttons might do something. I don't know.
Well, while you're here, I'm gonna hijack this just for a second. So there are 8 buttons, right, on most of these gas station screens. Always try, especially when it's blowing out annoying ads at you. The one below, so on the right side, the second from the top is usually a mute button.
A mute button, yes, that is a huge trick. Especially at like Circle K's and other gas stations. You just it's like this is something tech blast from Cheddar. You're like, mute. I don't want to hear this garbage.
That's no. And if you can't find the mute button, people press everything. It'll mute. Trust me.
Yeah.
I want to know. I want to know the button that says reset the price.
No, you need one of those. You need one of those new RFID things that are sweeping around the internet that everybody's freaking out about to do that. All right. Let's jump into specials here on this April the 16th. This first product, I have the last generation of this computer. This is the Lenovo IdeaPad 3i. This is running a Core i5 1335U processor. It's got 8 gigabytes of RAM plus an additional slot so that you could presumably add another 8 to it or more if you wanted to. And it comes with a 512 gigabyte solid state drive built into the computer. Normally on sale for $780. This is over at Micro Center, but you can this is one of the Micro Center products that they will actually ship to you instead of just picking it up in store. So 15.6 inch, really, really nice computer. Because it's only a because it's a 15.6 inch, this does have a numpad with it. I have the 13-inch version of this last generation. So if you need the numpad and you're looking for a 15.6 inch, check this out over at Micro Center, $499.99. Earliest delivery April the 22nd. So next weekend, if you are in a rush to get that. Next up, we'll head on over to Wally World, the great Walmart, for this Vizio 65-inch. This is their Class V series 4K televisions. This runs the Vizio Smart TV. I don't know where the Vizio Smart TV ranks in terms of a smart TV experience. I have Vizios and I use a Roku on all of them. If you're just doing it's got all the major apps on it. So, I mean, if you don't want to screw around with an external box, you can totally use this for everything. It supports everything from Plex to Netflix. You can see all the apps on the bottom. It supports pretty much all the major streaming platforms. And it's on sale for $398, normally $520. So you're saving about $120 or so on that, available over at Walmart.
That's amazing. 65, normally 520.
Yeah. But yeah, even the regular MSRP is a great deal. But for a little under $400, it'll be about $430 or so with tax. Not a bad price, available over at Walmart. This next item, I should say, is a network switch. This is a TP-Link TL-SG108. As I was doing specials, I realized I own one of these because I purchased it February the 18th of 2017. And it is currently sitting in my closet behind me with all of my networking equipment. And it's been rocking and rolling for years now. No problems with it at all. This is a simple 8-port gigabit unmanaged switch. It's normally a $40 switch, which is a decent amount of money, but it's on sale 53% off for just $19. So probably the best deal you'll find on an 8-port switch of a semi-reputable brand, $18. That is available over at Amazon. Next up, Casa, which is TP-Link's. What is Casa still TP-Link? I know it was, but it looks like all of their stuff is being sold separately now. So I'm not sure if it is TP-Link or not anymore. Maybe they broke off into a separate company. But what we've got here is their smart video doorbell. Now, this is a hardwired doorbell, so you're going to need the 2-pair conductor that you have from your current doorbell. This is not one that runs on battery. But if you're replacing an existing doorbell, you probably already have that anyway, so you're good to go. It supports up to a 2K resolution. Those are a little bit misleading sometimes. Nevertheless, it's a high-definition doorbell. Always on because it is powered, so it doesn't have to deal with a battery and stuff like that. It's got night vision, 2-way audio so that you can chat with somebody if you're not home, real-time notifications, plus cloud and SD card storage. That's big. So you put an SD card in the base station for this so that you don't have to store your data on the cloud. You can store it on a micro SD card on site, which is a little bit of added security. $33. It's normally a $60 unit. Comes with 2 pieces, obviously the physical doorbell that you put outside, and then the internal device, which is the chime and connects to the Wi-Fi. It's the Wi-Fi bridge for the doorbell. So it will connect. It supports A-Word and Google Home. So it supports all of that. If you're looking to get rid of your traditional doorbell, the Casa makes pretty good stuff. I've had a couple of their smart switches and stuff over time. I've never had any problems with them. 44% off, available over at Amazon. Keeping up with some of these new smart era things, this is the Selfie, SIFELY, keyless entry smart door lock. This thing has got multiple ways to unlock it, which is pretty cool. And for less than $80, this is a really good deal. So it's got a keypad on it, as you can see. So you can set it to unlock with a 4 6-digit key code. It's also got a fingerprint reader on it as well. So you can use it with biometric. Plus, it also comes with 2 fobs. So you can also just tap a fob up against the door itself and unlock it that way. So plus you can also unlock it via your phone if it's connected via Bluetooth. So 4 ways to unlock it. Plus it also has a physical key if the battery dies or something like that. So this has got a whole bunch of different ways to enter. You can bolster this thing up by purchasing their Wi-Fi gateway if you want to be able to unlock it and change the codes and check the status of it remotely when you're not home as well. It's normally $130. It's on a pretty significant discount, $78.80. There is a promo code that gets 30% off available at Amazon. So click the link in the specials for that, and it'll direct you to the Slick Deals page.
So just so I understand, by default, it does not connect to Wi-Fi.
It does not. No, it is not a Wi-Fi unit by
That
default.
is beautiful.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it's pretty standard. I have one now. I have a U lock. It's U, the letter U dash LOK or something like that. And it's the same way. By default, you connect to the device via Bluetooth, and um I have the Wi-Fi bridge, which is just a little white hockey puck thing that you plug into a regular outlet, and then you pair the bridge to the device and then the bridge to the Wi-Fi, and then now I can access my door lock from anywhere. If you have a rental property, this is the clear way to go. Screw dealing around with realtor locks and all that other BS. This you can
Right, but
change the
I'm actually
password and
thinking
everything.
about the fact that this isn't connected to any network.
It
So
is not.
yeah, so it's proximity only, which is a good thing security wise.
Mhm.
Now, the real question is, right, how hackable is the Bluetooth service on it? But in in essence, this is
But again,
for
somebody has to be.
$120, this is fantastic.
Yeah, it's a pretty good it's a pretty good deal. And it's the full unit. So this
Yeah,
this is not a deadbolt replacement. This is the full unit. It's got the doorknob on it and everything. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good deal for $78.
yeah, it is.
And I don't know anything about this brand, but this product does have nearly 5,500 reviews on Amazon. So people are buying it. And again,
Yeah,
if you want some of that, if it's a rental property, you might want that Wi-Fi gateway just so that you can, change things remotely or check the make sure the people that stayed at your Airbnb didn't leave the door unlocked. So you might want to add that, but it's definitely not necessary. And as Gal mentioned, if you don't want it connected to the internet at all, you're good to go. You don't have to deal with it. So it's a pretty cool device available over at Amazon. But again, click the link in the specials. Next up, I don't know how this is on sale for $5. This is a on ONN brand rugged portable speaker. It is IP7 water resistant up to 3 feet. So this is totally good for the lake or the pool. Um, Falls in the water, it'll probably be fine. It's normally only $11, which is a great deal within itself, but it's just $5. I have to go to Walmart today anyway to pick up some stuff. I'm going to see if they have one of these in stock, and I'll probably buy it just for a backup Bluetooth speaker, one that you can literally throw around and destroy. It's not the biggest unit in the world; it's a small unit, but for $5 for a Bluetooth speaker, I don't know that you'll find a better deal for that. That is available from Walmart, both in store and online. This next product is rather interesting. This is meant for an Xbox. It plugs into an Xbox One or Xbox Series S or X controller, so that you can get a full numpad, a full keyboard associated with it. So if you're doing a lot on the Xbox and you're typing a lot, you're chatting, this is a good unit. But it also comes with a USB transceiver that you can plug into any other USB device or any computer or any device that has USB. So for $13, you can get a really small chiclet USB keyboard that is great for a home theater computer, potentially a maybe you've got a dashboard through Home Assistant or something else, and you need a keyboard every once in a while to do something. This is a good device to do that with. It is available for $13, available from Best Buy. You can buy it either on eBay from Best Buy or buy it from Best Buy itself. All right, Gal, you're up here. This is a really, really cool product from Jazzco, who makes a lot of stuff. This is a 40 amp outdoor Z-Wave direct wire switch. So if you are trying to, if you're trying to control large electronics, a lot of the stuff that we talk about with Z-Wave is outlets and plugs and all of that stuff, and you're looking at 10, 15 amp outlets and plugs. This is a outdoor 40 amp breaker, essentially, that you can control via Home Assistant. So some of the use cases for this could be a HVAC system, a pool, heating unit, hot tub, anything that you would want to control remotely. This is not replacing your whole home breaker panel, which, by the way, there are smart home breaker panels that are hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. But for $100, you can run 40 amps through this thing up to 270 volts. It's a double pole, single throw switching. Some of the switches are independently controlled, and all of it from Z-Wave, which is pretty cool. So, you know, interesting use case, not for most people, as you probably don't have a use for it. But if you need something like this, you know who you are, and for $100, this is a pretty cool device. You just mount it outside your house and wire it all up. You're probably not the worst thing to use an electrician for it. But yeah, saw this available. And this is directly from Jazzco, who makes a plethora of smart products and things like that. Plus, there's another promo code to save $5 off of every $25 you spend through the next couple of days. So you can probably get this for like $80, available over at Jazzco. Next up, this is another Z-Wave device. This is an Brighton. That's the brand name. I don't know anything about them.
It's a Jazzco device, by the way.
All right.
They are the ones who make it, and Brighton is the brand for, I think, General Electric, but Jazzco makes the components inside.
Perfect. And again, Jazzco, they're one of the very few brands that have gotten. I mean, their business is smart home. That's the kind of stuff that they make. This is a regular. I picked this one specifically because it's light almond, which a lot of folks still have almond instead of white receptacles in their house. And if you look at a traditional amount of smart switches, they're all just plain white. But if you're looking for a one-to-one replacement in a part of your house, this is an in-wall Z-Wave tamper-resistant smart outlet. This is not a GFCI. It's just a regular outlet. So this is not what you're going to put in a bathroom or anything. But both of the plugs, I believe, are independently controlled. Excuse me. The top one is always on. The bottom one is the Z-Wave controlled one. So top one is just going to pass through 120 volts normally, like a regular outlet. The bottom one you can control via Z-Wave. So you can set up a schedule in your whatever Z-Wave hub you've got. Again, check whether something's on or off. Instead of maybe plugging a lamp into a smart plug, you replace an outlet with this, plug the lamp into the bottom outlet, and then do it that way. One less device and one less thing that you have to deal with. This is available from Amazon for $19. Normally it's $30, so it's not the best deal in the world. It's not normally an expensive product, but $20 not a bad price for that. And then our final product this morning is from Boost Mobile. I put this in here because I thought it was rather interesting. They're essentially giving away an Alcatel 5G hotspot, which is also a battery bank. And you can get, for $10 a month, you have to be a new customer to Boost Mobile. For $10 a month, you get 2 gigabytes of mobile hotspot. This whole thing is just $10. The hotspot is free. You get on this $10 a month data plan, which is good for a year. So it's 1 year. And this thing, you get a 4,400 milliamp hour battery, 2 gigabytes of monthly data for just $10 a month, which is not a bad deal at all. If maybe you're limited on your smartphone's hotspot, or your depending on what carrier you have, maybe you don't have personal hotspot at all, and it doesn't make sense to add it to your phone. For this, you get a physical standalone device that doubles as a backup battery and 2 gigabytes of data a month. So if that is in your wheelhouse, check that out. It's available directly from Boost Mobile. New customers only, $10. So free hotspot for that as long as you pay for the data on it. And that is specials for this Sunday.
Thank you very much, Nick.
Yes, sir.
Very, very interesting. All right. So are we done discussing the AI? Not that they didn't want AI to study their music because there's there's a few more stories about AI.
I think we've
some
probably
are very
beaten that
interesting.
horse.
Huh?
So I think we've probably beaten that horse.
All right. Listen to this. And he was never wrong, I don't think. Elon Musk has created a new company dedicated to artificial intelligence, and it's called X.AI. It's first reported by the Wall Street Journal. The company, which a Nevada filing indicates was incorporated last month, currently has Musk as its director and Jared Birchall, the director of Musk's family office, listed as its secretary. The filing, which The Verge has also obtained, indicates that Musk incorporated the business on March 9th. Rumors about Musk starting up an AI company have been floating around for days, with a report from Business Insider revealing that Musk had purchased thousands of graphic processing units, GPUs, to power an upcoming generative AI product.
Oh, not for mining?
No.
Does
Dogecoin?
it say how many? He purchased 100,000 GPUs.
It says purchase thousands. So okay.
Yeah, like literally 100,000 GPUs for AI. I mean, he spent a fortune on this.
And the Financial Times similarly reports that Musk planned to create an AI firm to compete with the Microsoft-backed OpenAI. Musk even reportedly sought funding from SpaceX and Tesla investors to get the company started. And where was that story that will just follow this?
Twitter is no longer Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Twitter as a company no longer exists. It's now under his X Corp, I believe is his company, where he has a lot of his stuff. So
Now, talking about GPUs. nVidia most advanced graphic cards are selling for more than $40,000 on eBay as demand soars for chips needed to train and deploy artificial intelligence software. This is like the whole thing about mining, but a different thing now. Everybody's
Well,
going to do.
at least this is useful mining.
Yeah.
You're actually getting something out of this, not just virtual currency.
The prices for NVIDIA H100 processors were noted by 3D gaming pioneer and former Meta consultant technology chief John Carmack on Twitter. On Friday, at least 8 H100s were listed on eBay at prices ranging from $39,995 to just under 46,000. This is for a GPU. Some retailers have offered it in the past for around 36,000. The H100 announced last year is NVIDIA's latest flagship AI chip, succeeding the A100, a roughly $10,000 chip that's been called the workhorse for AI applications. Developers are using the H100 to build so-called large language models, which are at the heart of AI applications like OpenAI's ChatGPT. Running those systems is expensive and requires powerful computers to churn through terabytes of data for days or weeks at a time. They also rely on hefty computing power so the AI model can generate text, images, or predictions. Training AI models, especially large ones like ChatGPT, requires hundreds of high-end NVIDIA GPUs working together. I wasn't aware of that. I mean, that takes that's why you need a bunch of money to do something like this.
Yes, the computing power that is
Wow.
required is impressive. It's
Yeah.
I mean, I got Guy, my son, I got him a top of the line machine a couple of years back, and running some AI stuff on it, right? It still feels like you need to wait, right? It
Yeah,
still
I
feels
remember.
like waiting for download on modem speeds. So um, it's yeah, the amount of so there's two factors in AI right now, and one of them is the GPU.
Right?
But along with the GPU, you need a huge amount of RAM. So because it is something different, it just works completely different. And the reason we are seeing a boost these past year, basically, right, and the abilities of AI. And by the way, the boost we're seeing is not in efficiency, because the efficiency part, right, is not that interesting yet. That will come later. It is in its ability to generate, in its ability to be creative, sort of, right? Creative with guidance. It's always an extension to human creativity. There needs to be a human that tells it what to create, because it's not, the seed needs to come from something coherent, not from itself. But as a tool, it is a very expensive tool right now. Yeah.
Oh,
Interesting. Very
Katie, when are you
interesting.
buying one?
Oh, when I win the lottery. I'm gonna buy a bunch of things when I win the lottery.
That's just amazing. $40,000.
Insane.
Phew. So who's using Current?
I don't even know what that is.
It's a Google. So Google has announced that it'll shut down Current, which was
Currently,
introduced in,
nobody.
huh?
Currently, nobody.
Yeah, nobody was using it.
It was introduced in 2019 as a replacement for Google Plus for G Suite. In a blog post, the company says it's planning to wind down Current and that it'll push the people who were using it to Spaces, which is sort of like
Faces.
Google Chat version of Slack channel or Discord room. Here comes Discord again. What did you say, Gal? Sorry.
Too little, too late.
No.
That will die as well.
Google said that it's making the change so users won't have to work in a separate, siloed destination. Instead, they'll be using chat and Spaces, which will soon be prominently integrated into Gmail. Google says it will begin winding down Currents on July 5th, with data available for export until August 8th, when it will no longer be available.
All of this, right? It's again, zero problems with it. One thing these companies never do, especially Google, right, is if they are winding down something, right, in order to move activity to another, they never create a tool to
To do,
migrate your
yeah.
data, right? So stop calling it winding down. We're killing this. We don't care about your data. If you care about it, you can get it. We will not help you do anything with it, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Yep. Okay. And talking about GPUs, now here's NVIDIA again. announced the GeForce RTX 4070 desktop GPU, a move that anyone who's been putting off a new mid-range do-it-yourself PC build has likely been eagerly awaiting. There you go, God. It puts the company's impressive ADA Lovelace graphics architecture within grasp for people who don't want to spend $1,000 or more on a huge graphics card. It'll launch. It launched Thursday, April 13th, starting at $599 for NVIDIA's Founders Edition single fan model. As is always the case, other manufacturers like Asus, Zotac, Gigabyte, MSI, and others are putting out factory overclocked variants too. So I
Well,
bet,
that's practically cheap, not $40,000.
yeah, $600. They're not comparing it to any of the other. Isn't there also a 4080 now?
Yeah, 4080 and 4090 are already out.
Yeah.
4070 is sort of the budget option.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at its specs. The budget option compared to previous generations top tier models,
Mhm.
right, is providing an improvement uh, in performance, in power draw, in everything. Like amazing jump.
Oh.
Yeah, this is good news for uh, provided one thing though. This is good news provided that they have the ability to actually produce these chips because we've seen that happen again, right? Again and again. Suddenly there's shortage. The shortage creates demand. Prices are exploding again, right? So we'll see.
Yeah,
This is
and
good news. I just hope it'll pan out for us consumers, customers,
so
because
I'm wondering if this is the same case scenario of 46 SX and some other.
no, no, because a server GPU is is a beast. It is designed to be utilized 24/7 at high churn rates in server farms. It is something completely different by multiple
Yeah, no,
processes,
no,
right?
but I mean, you know what was what happened with the SX? It
No,
was the SX, and there were some memory DIMMs and SIMs that it's when they don't
yeah,
pass for the high end, but they're
yeah.
great as seconds. I mean, yeah, they'll work perfect for PCs. They sell them as lower megahertz back then
Oh,
because
you're talking about processors and QA cycles,
yeah,
the quality
stuff like that.
assurance.
So I'm
Yeah, yeah,
wondering
no.
if they were creating the 4080 and 4090s, and some of them were,
No,
they're
it doesn't work that way
okay. Well,
on these lines. It might for some, but no.
all
I
right.
think we're way past that.
Okay.
The reason is the consumer, the end user, even if it's a home user, they are much more the tools at their hand is so much more advanced than started that they can no longer pass that. Uh,
All right. So, Gal, you're using Firefox.
I am.
I use Firefox. Who else uses Firefox?
I use Firefox.
Well, listen to this. This is interesting. Firefox has a reputation of being something of a resource hog, even among modern browsers. But it might not be entirely earned because it looks like a CPU bug affecting Firefox users on Windows was actually the fault of Windows Defender. The latest update to the ubiquitous security tool addresses the issue and should result in measurably lower CPU usage for the Windows version of Firefox. According to Mozilla senior software engineer, the culprit was msmp.eng.exe, which you might recognize from your task manager, and I remember seeing it many a times. It handles the real-time protection features that monitors web activity for malicious threats. The bug was causing Firefox to call on the service much more frequently than comparable browsers like Chrome or Edge, resulting in notable CPU spikes. Said CPU spikes could reduce performance in other applications or affect a laptop's battery life. The issue was first reported on Mozilla's bug tracker system way back in 2018 and quickly assigned to the MSMPENG service. But some more recent and diligent documentation on the part of Jugglerit, whatever that is, resulted in more swift action for Microsoft developers. So, if you're using Defender, the latest version of it is if you upgrade to the latest version of it, which should happen all the time, should give you better performance with Firefox. I just went, when I was reading it, I went and I did the help and not for the Windows updates. And sure enough, it updated it and it took a little bit longer than normal. I don't know why, but we'll see. So
And
that's interesting.
Your Firefox ran better?
I did not try it.
After a
Yeah.
reboot, Firefox runs smoothly, so you never know.
Mm.
I can say for a fact I have not found Firefox resource heavy more than any other browser. Uh, I know that they're claiming for a specific bug.
Oh.
I use Windows Defender, so like it's active all the
I
time.
I definitely remember when the computer would slow down and you go to the task manager, that MSMPENG was always one up
Yes,
there,
but it
and you
has
kill it
that
and things run faster, but then it somehow comes back up. And I don't know if that's what it is or there's some other.
no. So that's the thing. I don't think that is it. That's
I don't
it.
know.
That it is. I
Oh,
am happy that there is a fix to make the Defender more efficient
yeah,
because any antivirus software, any security suite should take as little resources possible
right.
from your machine,
Yep.
right? And I find it really bizarre that the media blast around this is about Firefox. Like
Oh, well.
to me, it feels like okay. Firefox are probably the engineers at Firefox are probably the ones who helped unveil this bug that was there for years. If I read correctly, this bug was there about 6 years ago, right? This is actually a Microsoft news article, right, about how inefficient they are in receiving feedback and explanation of what's going on the OS, and uh, that's all I get from it. It's like, okay, uh, Firefox got dinged by something the OS did wrong. Uh, if that was identified sooner and other browsers were not affected by it, then it's also a Firefox bug.
Yeah,
Yes, the OS behaves crappy, then you need to find a workaround,
right.
right, to make the
Yeah.
OS happy. So, yeah, it feels like a turf war that has nothing to do with us. We're only suffering from it, but we have zero effect of it. So
Well, we'll
a
see. We'll
strange,
see.
a very strange media blast, right? I don't
Yeah.
think it'll bring more people to use Firefox. Let's put it that way.
No.
Yeah.
Now, Nick, you said Twitter is no. Oh, Nick, Shut up.
Yeah, Elon Musk is now Twitter is just a brand of X Corp.
Of what? X?
So yeah, I was reading about this when you mentioned the XAI,
Yeah.
right? And I said, so he owns the domain XAI.
Yeah.
XAI domain isn't responding right now, but he has owned since early 2000s or probably 90s X.com, which later became PayPal,
Oh.
right?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So yeah, so apparently he's finally finally coming into manifesting his original desires to have a corporation under the title X, and so he has incorporated X Corp in Delaware, along with a couple of other companies, and he's merging Twitter into that. And Twitter is just a brand at this point, not no longer a company. Interesting.
Yeah,
But
Nick.
let's also look at his bigger plan, which for years has been to have a catch-all app that does everything.
Yeah.
That's what his master plan has always been. And having ever at some point there will likely be an X app that is what Twitter turns into, in all likelihood. And it will include everything. He wants it to be a payment processor. I mean, boy, does he have a track record in payment processors. I mean, he sure as hell knows how to handle that and do that. He wants X to become the thing that you use for everything. He's
We'll
stated
have
that
to
stuff
wait
publicly.
and see. That's
I mean,
interesting.
him and Meta and Google at one point and
Yeah.
Microsoft, and they all
But Meta
had the
has
same
done it.
plans at one end.
But let's look at Facebook. Meta has done that. I mean, they killed Craigslist. They've taken huge chunks out of eBay with their marketplace. Their groups have shut down forums in large parts. You can look at other things too, like Discord. Their forums and other groups have all of that stuff is now happening on Facebook. Meta has done a phenomenal job with Facebook of incorporating all the place where you just used to post pictures of what you were eating is now the place. I mean, I sold something on Facebook Marketplace yesterday. I use it all the time. They've just done they have a dating app built into Facebook now. I mean, they've got all this stuff. Yeah. Do you use Facebook?
No, not really. I mean, I
If you
use
use
the
it-
marketplace, but there's
if-
a dating app now?
It's built into the app. If you scroll, it's like it's buried in. I came across it the other day when I was trying to change my Facebook notification settings. I don't remember what it was called, but yeah, they've got all this stuff built right into it now. Let me see if I can find it again. Yeah, it's right here. If you go to more feeds, groups, events, and events too. Their event calendar is huge. Pages, reels, dating, gaming, shopping, fantasy games, memories, offers, orders and payments, and stories. Those are all the things that they've got as their services inside of the Facebook app. Absolutely.
Hmm.
So I think he wants to do the same thing with Twitter or X. I mean, it's still called Twitter. It's just under the umbrella of X now, which has no meaningful difference.
Yeah, but it's a name, it's a name recognition. So,
well, I mean, realistically, once he bought Twitter, Twitter as a company really no longer existed. I mean, he bought it and now it's a private company, so it's not as relevant as it once was.
So, did you read the story about Parler?
No, what's going on with old Parler?
Parler, the self-described uncancelable free speech platform, has been sold and shut down while its new owner conducts a strategic assessment. The platform will be back eventually. New owner Starboard says the Parler website is now a simple page containing only today's press release announcing the acquisition, which was completed without financial terms being disclosed. No reasonable
company, right?
Yep, private company.
No reasonable person believed that a Twitter clone just for conservative is a viable business anymore, the acquisition announcement said, promising a revamp.
And
I never knew that it was just for
it wasn't just for,
Yeah.
but like anything else, when you get kicked off of a platform, you look for somewhere to
Yeah,
go. I mean, it's the
right.
problem with Truth Social. It's the problem with Gab.
Yep.
Rumble, in large part, they're diversifying a little bit. Um, that's interesting.
Yep.
Owned now by or Starboard was founded by Ryan Coyne, Coyne. Apparently a uh, former Olympic media. It was formerly called Olympic Media before it was called Starboard. It's a media conglomerate, apparently.
It's amazing how it's
I mean, it makes sense. If I'm
yeah.
Parler and somebody is dangling a couple of bucks in front of me,
Sure.
realizing that there's no viable future, I mean, you're not going to compete with Gab or Truth Social or anything
Right.
like that. Yeah, I mean, that's what I would do.
Yep. It's still it's a shame. I mean,
I disagree that it's a shame. I think that
they should have
they had a
revamped it.
goal, they had an objective, they did a great job. Parler was very, in its circle, was very popular for a period of time, but it's very hard to keep that. It's very hard to keep that going long term.
Oh. All right. Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg has declared that 2023 will be the year of efficiency at the company. So far, efficiency has translated into mass layoff. He has conducted 2 rounds of cuts over the past 6 months, with 2 more to come. These will eliminate more than 21,000 people, he said. He's also closing 5,000 open positions. Katie, you're lucky you didn't get a job there,
Yeah.
which amounts to 30% of his company's workforce. At the same time,
30%. Holy Toledo.
At the same time, some of Meta's top executives have moved away and are managing large parts of the Silicon Valley company from their new homes in places like London and Tel Aviv. The layoffs and absentee leadership, along with concerns that Mr. Zuckerberg is making a bad bet on the future, have devastated employee morale at Meta, according to 9 current and former employees, as well as messages reviewed by the New York Times. Employees at Meta, which not long ago was one of the most desirable workplaces in Silicon Valley, face an increasingly precautious future. The company's stock price has dropped 43% from its peak 19 months ago. More layoffs, Mr. Zuckerberg has said on his Facebook page, are coming this month. Some of those cuts would be in engineering groups, which would have been unthinkable before the trouble started last year, 2 employees said. So many of the employees feel like they're in limbo right now. A global this was said by a global director of human resource at Delete Me, who was laid off from Facebook in November. They are saying it's Hunger Games meets Lord of the Flies, where everyone is trying to prove their worth to management.
Hmm.
This is really bad.
No, it's not.
I mean, it's bad for a lot of people that
Well,
are going to be laid off.
Yeah, it's
And
bad for the
can you
people getting
imagine
laid off.
working there?
I
Gosh.
mean, I don't think it's every tech company is dealing with this right now. This is the result of what has gone on the last couple of years. These companies were hiring at ridiculous trends over the last 3 years,
Yeah.
to points in which nobody in their right mind thought it was legitimate.
I can tell you why it's happening. And especially with Meta, and it's not a surprise to me that they're laying off as many people as they are. It's because VR has completely bombed. And like a couple years ago, VR was like the next greatest thing, and they were trying to figure out ways to sell it to clients, and they couldn't figure out a way to incorporate into their business model. And just like a couple months ago, I think Microsoft closed down their VR department, and Meta was all about the MetaQuest, and nobody wants MetaQuest. So it's all been pivoted to AI. So I wouldn't be surprised within the next few months if Meta or Mark Zuckerberg comes out with the same thing that Elon did, where he's like, "Oh, we're gearing our stuff towards AI now," and so all those engineers are probably VR engineers from MetaQuest. That'd be my guess.
Just to be
It
clear about VR bombing, right?
Yeah,
VR gaming is still happening,
yeah,
but
yeah,
that's
yeah.
it.
Yep.
That's it. It's like nobody's seeing this as evolving to what was presented as the metaverse,
Yeah,
that
as like the
everything is
next
going to happen there.
greatest
Yeah.
like thing. These companies can't figure out a way to capitalize on it, and they can't figure out a way to market it and sell it and to make the Ugo big bucks that the potential that AI now has. So I'm 100% think that all these companies are going to swing around from VR is the next greatest thing to AI is now the next greatest thing. Watch it. There's going to be an announcement in like a month or so.
This,
But this is also a tech sector thing as a whole. I mean, we've seen so many of these companies, Twitter, even outside of Elon Musk. Prior to that, Twitter, Amazon has been cutting staff at a ridiculous rate, specifically from their AWS and other brands. They had so many people doing so little work that that they have no choice but to lay them off.
Mm.
Huh?
They hired tens of thousands of people during COVID, tens of thousands of people. And they didn't seemingly add anything that would have required to have tens of thousands of more employees. It's very short-sighted decisions that are now screwing a lot of people. Totally predictable.
Well, this too shall pass.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the reality of, and plus
Yeah.
these companies are looking at the broader trend of the economy right now, which is not
Sure.
good. The
Sure.
economy is hanging on by a fishing line.
Knock on wood.
There's no knocking on wood.
No,
I mean,
I
it's,
mean,
it's,
yeah.
economics is simple math, and I
Right.
mean it's what we're looking at right now. I mean, these guys can see the writing on the wall that it's going to be sooner rather than later. It is going to be time to start tightening the belt big time, and they're getting ahead of that now.
Some figuring out how to make extra money.
I mean, we talked about a couple weeks ago. Twitch laid off 400 people.
Yeah.
I didn't know Twitch had 400 employees. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I mean, it's a freaking video streaming service. I get that it's a big company, but they laid off 400 people, and that wasn't even 75. That wasn't even 20% of their workforce. A lot of bloat and a lot of fat. Times have been very good. There's been a lot of money available. So they've been hiring and bolstering up and trying things, but you can only do that when you've got an influx of cash and things are looking good on the horizon, and they're not. Anybody that tells you otherwise is either woefully lying to you or is just has no idea what's going on. And plus, Katie's spot on. What did they spend, Katie? $100 billion on their VR thing?
Yeah.
It turned out to be literally nothing. I mean, $100 billion
Yep.
for nothing.
Yep.
They have
Meta
nothing to
spent
show for it.
Meta spent a lot of money on it because they were banking on the investment coming through.
Yeah. And it never materialized. The metaverse has never materialized into anything. So,
All right, listen to this now about Amazon. Amazon has started charging a fee for some returns made at UPS stores.
I saw this. Yeah.
While customers used to be able to drop off their returns at a UPS store free of charge, Amazon will now charge $1 fee if customers have another free return options the same distance away or closer. Customers can still visit those other drop-off locations, including Whole Foods, Kohl's, and Amazon stores. and leave their packages for free. They're already charged customers to have UPS pick up returns from their homes or to drop off packages at UPS access points, which are located inside third party customers, okay, businesses. So it's interesting. It is if a customer would prefer to return their items at a UPS store when there is a free option closer to the delivery address, a very small amount will be in charge $1. $1.
This is first of all, I say very good to them, and I'll explain why I'm applauding them because they're definitely not doing it for profit, right? They're not.
No.
That $1 isn't going to shift. This is basically a marketing research. We're back to marketing research, right? They want to see how if it's a brand affiliation with people preferring UPS over Kohl's or Whole Foods, when when it costs nothing, you use something that you know, right? I know what UPS service looks like. I know what it means to stand in line in UPS. I know, so that's why I choose UPS over the other options. I don't usually drive to Whole Foods or to Kohl's, so returning them there doesn't really make sense out for me because it is out of the way for me. But if I need to pay, right, in order to go to one place and it's free to me to go to the other, then now they are breaking that chain of familiarity and saying, okay, I'll try this out, right? They will have hard numbers to show them whether it's important that UPS keeps that business or they can do it on their own, right? They've been investing for what, the past 6 years in their own infrastructure
Mhm.
of deliveries and physical locations, right? So yeah, it makes perfect sense at this point to test whether that infrastructure is ready for prime time, right? It was a nice to have to most of us consumers, but we utilized it very little. Now they're basically putting some pressure and saying, did you really mean that you actually prefer UPS? Or was it just because it was the convenient free that you know? So yeah, it's
No. And
I see it
when you talk,
because
go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
No, no, you go ahead.
I mean, I see it as a complete this is the first step for them deciding, do we charge what UPS is charging us? Because they're definitely losing money on UPS. Otherwise, they won't go through the effort of building their own infrastructure, right? So do we start charging the people who want to use UPS, or do we need to keep UPS because we're not doing a good job on our own? So
Yeah.
Hold on
that's
though.
the way to test it.
I'm trying to remember. So I always return my stuff at Kohl's just because you get like a 25% off thing there when they sell stuff besides clothing. But it's still, I think it's still UPS return label. Trying to remember.
They're talking about the UPS stores. The UPS stores are not
Oh,
a UPS owned.
I know, but to Gal's point, because now that I'm thinking about it, right? Because obviously he owns Whole Foods, so that's their thing themselves. But I believe it's still going through the UPS network. So the only thing they're changing is the physical drop off locations.
Well,
So I'm gonna see if I can find.
it allows them to control the entire process.
I'm
They
I
decide whether it's UPS or not. We don't care.
Well, I
Nick,
know, but I think it still is. Let me see if I can find my last.
Nick, I would not be surprised if the stuff at Kohl's and at Whole Foods, if there's a Amazon truck comes by once a day and picks up everything into a box. I don't.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm trying to, but I'm almost positive the last time I returned something on Amazon, I always return it at
Kohl's.
Kohl's, but I believe it's a UPS label. I'm trying to find my last
Yeah,
label.
that doesn't I don't think that matters at all. So they are obviously paying in bulk, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
They might be paying differently for processing a single customer standing in line in a store to here's a packet with 400 packages, right? That you deal with in bulk. here's the manifest, right? We already scanned everything, we did all the work. There's probably a different payment. And if they choose to switch that to an Amazon operated channel, it doesn't matter to us. So for
Yeah.
now, it's UPS.
I would, we're forgetting another aspect of. I will not be surprised if Kohl's, I don't know about Whole Foods, but Kohl's and the UPS, if they were actually not paying Amazon some kind of a fee to get that extra traffic into the store.
Oh, for sure. That's absolutely what Kohl's is
So
doing, I
if
think, and they've done a
UPS,
phenomenal job at it.
yeah, and if the UPS store decided, you know what, we're not doing good business here. Now we're not gonna pay the fee. So Amazon said, so we're gonna charge the customer $1. It's gonna
Okay,
cover
so
something, and they're gonna push him to go into Kohl's or
Yeah,
into Whole
that's
Foods.
exactly
so
that's what they're testing out, whether
Yeah.
the
I am
infrastructure will
wrong.
survive that.
All right.
My last return I did was at Kohl's, and you select when you go to where you want to return it,
Right.
and it is just a regular mailing label. So if that's the case, then they might be using part of Kohl's infrastructure to get that stuff back to an
Oh.
Amazon hub and do it that way. If that's the case, it makes perfect sense. Because I mean, they've already got those, like we talk about with Walmart, right? They've got these trucks and these infrastructures running constantly. So
Mhm.
screw UPS and screw everybody else. Do it yourself. And they've between Whole Foods and Kohl's, and plus their own site to site delivery. I mean, they practically got a shipping network.
Look, when Amazon started, right, there was zero sense in building the logistics network, and paying for the logistics made sense because the customers were too far apart, right, and too infrequent. We are now in a state where they are their customers are almost every U.S. postal customer, right?
Mhm.
And the frequency of delivery is as frequent as mail delivery. So it's it they need to stop relying on a third party, or they need a way of forcing with data, right? Forcing a better deal with that third party. And this is exactly what they're doing. They're collecting data now. That's what the $1 is about. It's just about
Oh.
data collection. It is a sign of what what will come later. Either UPS gets into a better deal with Amazon, right? For Amazon, a better deal for Amazon here for sure, right? Either they get into a better deal with Amazon, or Amazon takes over the network and kicks UPS completely, which probably won't happen, right? UPS will the amount of money they're making out of Amazon is clearly enormous.
I bet you if Jeff
So
Bezos could go back in time, he'd probably do a bunch of things differently. But I would suspect that he had an opportunity at some point to earlier on do some of the logistical stuff, and I bet you he regrets not doing that. I mean, hindsight's 2020, but
yeah,
because they're trying to if they're trying to catch up on that now, they could have done it so much cheaper and more effective
I
15 years ago.
I don't necessarily think that's true. With what they know today, yes, but they when you're working out of obscurity, when you're unsure about things,
Sure.
right? You do not start recreating the wheel, so reinventing the wheel. You use what I mean. If you don't know if you're going to stay in a town for 6 months or 4 years, you're not buying a home there. You're renting. Should you have bought from the beginning and just paid the mortgage fees? Maybe you'd be better off. But you never know that in advance, right? That's the problem, right? It's the chicken and the egg. Yeah,
Yeah.
could they have done this sooner? Probably. Is it time for them to do it now? Nobody knows. They're testing the waters. So interesting. I like the approach, though. I like the approach. They clearly state, right? It's going to cost you $1 only if you don't have another option in the same radius.
Yeah.
So And I'm sure there's going to be problems with the algorithm there, and the software will break, and there'll be people who are pissed off that they need to pay $1 for something that is clearly not in the same radius, etc. Blah blah blah, and the we have zero control of the rules, right? But the approach itself seems solid. It seems the data they're going to collect is actually going to be fair, representing reality in a certain way. It won't represent every single person in that area, that's for sure. But it will provide Amazon. It's a great it's a great tool. Charging people $1 is a fantastic tool. Hey, there's a party at my house. Is it free? Yes. No, you need to pay $1 entry. 90% won't come, right?
I refuse to pay a cover.
Yeah,
Stand,
exactly.
full stand.
Exactly. So it's a good way of testing out, right, how serious you are about that free offer.
Yeah. Well, and here's the great thing. Between Whole Foods and Kohl's, they're everywhere. I mean, it's, they're literally everywhere. If you're in any marginal sized city, there's maybe one or more of those options.
And also the nice thing is that they give you what, 30 days to return stuff?
God, it's longer than that, I think.
I don't know.
And I could
And
find a product from 4 years ago and convince them that I need to return it, and they'd probably send me a box.
I wonder
so
if Bezos is regretting not buying Sears.
Yeah, can you imagine?
yeah.
Speaking of that, I went to the mall this week, which I
Whoa.
know is a shock. What does that mean, Katie? What?
No, I just, it's not a big deal. I go to the mall too.
Oh, okay. Well,
But
I
I'm
know
just
God. I
saying,
know God
yes.
doesn't go to the mall.
No.
But I needed clothing at a rapid rate, and obviously an online option was not available, and I was woefully disappointed with the big box stores in the malls that had nothing in the caliber that I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Just
It's
continuing.
because the clothes you're looking for, right? They're not sold in.
Well, I mean, I was trying to buy a pink pair of pants, but nevertheless,
Wow, that's very specific and out
You
there.
should
I
have
don't know if
gone
they
to the
carry
Pink
that.
Panther shop.
they do. Have you've been to Belk before? That's exactly the kind of crap that they carry.
Well,
Well, you
obviously
should have
not if
gone
you
to the
couldn't
women's
find it.
section.
Yeah. Or buy white pants and dye them.
If I couldn't find white pants either, Katie. So that was I would have been fine with white, but I couldn't find those either. But I was still shocked with how empty those stores were. I
Yeah,
went to J.C. Penney,
I agree.
Dillard's, Belk, and
Did you look in Walmart?
yes, they didn't have it either. I ended up finding them. It was fine.
Where'd
But
you find them? I want to know.
Dillard's on the clearance rack. The only
Dillard's.
pair that happened to be my size. I mean, I literally won the lottery.
Wow, that was
Thursday.
destiny.
Yeah, it was destiny. Thanks to the
Actually,
man.
next time start at Ross or what's the name?
We don't have a Ross here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you
We're,
live
TJ
in the
Maxx.
slums.
no, we just live in a much smaller place. But I was walking through the department stores. There's so many employees, and there's nobody in the stores. I was shocked by it.
Yeah, that's a good point. When I go to the mall, I go mostly for Barnes and Noble or like Hot Topic or like very novelty specific. What?
Hot Topic?
Yeah.
14?
No, listen, Hot Topic sells D&D shirts. And so I went to the outlet mall in Smithfield and they had a Hot Topic out there and it was buy two get one free and they had D&D merch. Like they have the nerd merch that you usually have to go online to find for like video games or for whatever. And they had it there. So I was like, they're doing fine. I don't need I think you're right though. Like when I'm buying regular stuff, I kind of just go to whatever store or if I can get it online or whatever. But for like specific novelty stuff, I like to go to the store. Anyways.
And I'm not. I mean, I bought a couple of shirts on Amazon this week. I have a pair of shoes coming this week. I mean, it's not that I'm anti Amazon, but I just found myself once again. I didn't buy the stuff on Amazon. I was like, because I'm sure I'll be able to find it locally.
Yeah.
And I was woefully disappointed again.
Yeah.
That's bad.
It is because I mean, I would have spent $50 on a pair of pants if one of these places had them, because I didn't have a choice. Well, I mean, I had a choice, but that's what I wanted, and I would have paid for it. And I find this happening more and more, where and it's not just this. I mean, we've talked about, for example, you go to a Best Buy or whatever it is, Office Depot, Office Max, or Staples, and what they have supplies available is just brutal.
Yep.
You have no choice but to buy it online.
Oh well.
Oh yeah, life goes on.
On that note, we need something funny.
On this note, we need to get out of here.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. That's good. All right. Anything else that anybody wants to bring up?
Nah, I have nothing. I know
Alright.
nothing. I have
Alright.
an empty void.
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody upgrade their Chrome. Yeah. Everybody should update their Chrome browser immediately if they haven't yet. There's a CVE out there that the details of it have not been published yet because it's such a shit show. And it has been for a while. It has been used in the wild, so hackers have knowledge of it, certain hackers, and it can allow access to your machine if you're not with an updated version that fixes that patch.
Right.
Very important, very urgent. Do it. Check that you're on the latest version of any Chrome or Chromium based browser.
And really, with Chrome to do it, don't be intimidated. All you have to do is just go to the setting and help about,
All you need
and
to
it'll
do
do
is
it
basically
automatically.
close Chrome completely. So if you're in doubt, just reboot and you'll be good.
Yeah,
right?
it will do it automatically. Yeah. Yep. Very good.
But don't wait on it. It's a big one.
All right. Well, thanks, Nick. Thanks, Gal. Thanks, Katie.
Anytime.
Spence, if you're listening, Spence didn't feel good, so that's why he didn't join us today. Hope you feel better. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Dana, Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov, and Yael. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. And change any same passwords that you use on multiple sites. So you're using a unique one. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And again, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. Nick is on Wilmington's 980 The Wave and 107.9 FM with his daily news and commentary show. You can just tell your Echo device to play 980 The Wave, or you can go to his recordings at nickcraig.com. And Tuesdays, 7 p.m., Nick and Brian do the Infection podcast on Twitch. Gaming news, survival games. So Tuesdays, 7 p.m., twitch.tv/Infection podcast. Have a great week, and we'll be back together next Sunday.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.